Let me tell you something most men completely misunderstand about women coming out of relationships. A lot of men see a woman who just broke up with her boyfriend and think one thing: perfect, she's single. But here's the truth most men learn the hard way. A woman fresh out of a relationship is not neutral territory. She's emotional momentum in motion. And if you don't understand the type of rebound she's in, you'll misread the situation completely. You'll either come on too strong or too soft, or offer the exact opposite of what she's emotionally craving at that moment. The result? You get confused when she suddenly loses interest. When a woman has just come out of a breakup, she is not thinking clearly. Her emotions are still adjusting. Her ego may be bruised. Her identity might feel shaken. But here's the reality most experienced men eventually figure out. There are two completely different types of rebound women. And once you understand the difference between them, the entire dynamic becomes easier to read. Let's break it down. 1. The woman rebounding from a man who broke her heart. This is the first type. This is the woman who had a man she truly wanted, a man she imagined a future with, a man she hoped would choose her long term. But he didn't. Maybe he refused commitment. Maybe he walked away. Maybe he simply lost interest. Whatever the reason, her ego took a hit. And when a woman experiences that kind of rejection, her emotional system starts searching for something very specific. Not thrills, not chaos, not adrenaline. She's looking for emotional reassurance. She wants to feel, I'm still desirable. I'm still worthy. I'm still valued. And here's the interesting thing many men don't realize. Sometimes the fastest way she tries to restore that emotional balance is through quick emotional connection or intimacy. Not necessarily because she's deeply attracted to the new guy, but because the experience temporarily repairs the damage done by the previous breakup. In other words, she's not chasing excitement, she's chasing healing. And when a man comes in during this stage acting overly wild, risky, or chaotic, it often overwhelms her. She's not emotionally available for that. She wants calm energy, warmth, attention, stability. But here's where men must be careful, because if you become her emotional bandage, you might also become the man she forgets once she feels better. That's the reality of many rebound dynamics. 2. The girl rebounding from a man whose heart she broke. Now let's talk about the second type. This woman didn't leave the relationship devastated. She left bored. She had a guy who liked her a lot. Maybe he treated her well. Maybe he was loyal. But something inside the relationship stopped stimulating her. Maybe he became predictable. Maybe he lacked ambition. Maybe the emotional tension disappeared. So eventually, she ended it. And here's the key difference. She isn't emotionally wounded. She's emotionally restless. This type of rebounder is not looking for comfort. She's looking for stimulation. She wants to feel alive again. She wants energy, adventure, uncertainty, excitement. This is the stage where some women suddenly start exploring experiences they avoided in their previous relationship. New social circles, late nights out, spontaneous decisions. And if a man approaches her with the same calm, predictable energy she just walked away from, he reminds her of the past, which means he becomes invisible to her attraction system. This is why some men get confused. They behave respectfully, calmly, responsibly, and the woman shows zero interest. But the reality is simple. She just left a stable environment. What she wants now is contrast. So how do you tell which type she is? This is where most men overcomplicate things. The simplest way to understand a rebound situation is to ask one very direct question. Who ended the relationship? Now pay attention. You're not really listening for the answer itself. You're listening to how she describes it. If she says something like, I don't want to talk about it, he's a jerk, you're probably dealing with someone who's still emotionally wounded. Her tone carries resentment, pain, anger. That's usually the heartbroken rebounder. But if she says something like, I ended it, he was a good guy, it just wasn't the right fit. Notice how calm that sounds? Almost indifferent, no emotional intensity. That usually means she walked away emotionally intact, and that's the bored rebounder. Two completely different psychological states. How to handle each type. Once you understand which rebound type you're dealing with, the energy you bring into the interaction becomes important, because each type responds to different emotional experiences. If she's the heartbroken rebounder, your presence should feel calming. You don't need to impress her with chaos or adrenaline. Instead, be emotionally grounded. Be patient. Be reassuring. Women in this state often respond strongly to men who make them feel seen and appreciated again. But remember something important. Just because someone finds comfort in you does not automatically mean they are ready for a serious relationship, so maintain your awareness. If she's the bored rebounder, this dynamic is almost the opposite. She's not searching for emotional repair, she's searching for stimulation. That doesn't mean recklessness, but it does mean confidence, playfulness, spontaneity. She wants experiences that feel different from the stability she just left behind. This type of rebounder is often reconnecting with her sense of freedom and excitement, and if you come into that environment acting overly careful or overly cautious, you won't stand out. Final thought. Here's the bigger truth men eventually learn. Rebound relationships are rarely about the new person. They're usually about emotional transition. One person is healing, the other is rediscovering freedom. And when you understand the emotional context someone is coming from, you stop taking their behavior personally. You start reading the situation more clearly. And that awareness alone puts you ahead of most men navigating modern dating.